at that time there was a band that was really getting a lot of heat that a lot of my friends were into, but I wasn't really into them because I was, like I said, I was really into Jimmy Eat World at the time. My friends were all into this band called the Alkaline Trio. So I was in yearbook one day, and my friends have been telling me about Alkaline Trio all the time. In fact, on that very compilation that I got from the Fuel by Ramen booth, that was the first time I ever heard them because they had a song on that compilation. Anyway, I didn't really care about Alkaline Trio so much. I thought they were like okay, but then one day in yearbook, like this must be like weeks before I graduated, my friend, she's like, I just went and saw Alkaline Trio the other night. And she whips out this yearbook from the stack of McHenry yearbooks. She goes, this is like 1994 yearbook. And she's like, this is the singer of Alkaline Trio, Matt Skiba. I'm like, what? He went to East Campus? Like, he's from here? Like this
What's his name?
Matt Skiba. So.
No relation as far as we know. Everyone, just interesting.
It is interesting. That actually, along with the whole swimming thing, just knowing that Matt Skiba was like in this band that was literally about to go on tour with like Blink-182 and like do the Warped Tour, and like they just got signed to a label called Vagrant that I was really into. It was just very empowering. Like, okay, this is totally doable. Like even more so, like I had even more confidence. Like, okay, if somebody from my town can do it, I can do it. And so that opened me up to the whole Chicago scene, because Alkaline Trio was a spawn-off band off of another band which I had mentioned earlier called Slapstick. Mm-hmm. Slapstick was this punk ska band that I mentioned earlier in my testimony here. Slapstick was like, I'm gonna just go hip hop on you. If you guys know who the group NWA is, they were like the NWA of punk in the Chicagoland area suburbs. NWA, for those of you who don't know, like basically three of those members are like Eazy-E, Ice Cube, and Dr. Dre. And if you follow that family tree of where that stems out to and all of the creations that they've created, it's so vast and it spans throughout that genre of hip hop. Well, Slapstick was like that because they had the bass player from Slapstick in the Alkaline Trio. I'm just throwing that out there because I started to learn more about the history of Chicago and the bands and the scene, and so I got really into that. And I barely graduated. I was taking consumer ed. As I said, I didn't care about school. I knew I wasn't going to go to college. I was probably going to go to community college. I didn't take it seriously, and I didn't try. So I barely graduated with that last like half credit from consumer education. That was really, really what got me to graduate. Rightfully, I probably shouldn't have graduated because I really didn't apply myself. But so I graduated, and I decided, over the summer that I was going to attend the community college. I'll just mention this. I'll throw this in there. I went to visit my family for my grandparents' 50th wedding anniversary at the campground that my uncle owned.
Ah.
And in case I didn't mention this, the same uncle that got my parents a job when we couldn't make ends meet in Fargo, mm-hmm. In 1992, he moved to upstate New York. This all comes full circle. And he bought a campground. Mm-hmm. And that's what he was doing with his life instead of...
Which Sam and I presently are sitting in at this very moment.
That's right. And we'll get even more into that as we go.
Now, I'm just curious, what year are we in now?
That's 2001. I graduated in 2001.
All right.
I'm going to fast forward from the summer.
College.
I'm in college, right? I'm in, I think, my first week or first 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. I was taking 4 classes, and I dropped one because I couldn't handle the load because, well...
You didn't really care.
I didn't care. And I was writing, instead of taking notes, I was writing songs in class, so I really wasn't paying attention. Just to give an example, I didn't pass any of my classes except for English. Surprise,
Of
surprise.
course.
But I was in philosophy class one day. And all of a sudden, there's this voice over like the megaphone in the building dismissing us for like some tragic event that has happened in New York City. And I was like, what? And I hear something about Twin Towers, World Trade Center, planes, like what? Like, and everybody's talking in the hallway, but I didn't know anybody. And my girlfriend at the time had just gone to Ohio State University, so she's like 7 hours away. So it's like a really crazy time, you know, young, emotional time. You know, you just part ways with your girl, and all of a sudden, wait, what's happening? Like, and
The world's ending? What?
yeah, and I go home. I hadn't seen images yet. I didn't know really what was going on. And I get home, and my mother at the time was doing realty on the side of working as a paralegal. And she was home. She was doing like showings that day, and they canceled them because of this event. And I look at the TV screen, and mind you, it was about this time, like I think in 2000. For those of you, I'm going to throw this randomly out there, but I think the last TV show that I really kept up with was called Friends.
Wow.
That's the last TV show I remember avidly watching in high school. Like I used to watch it with like my sister or like my girlfriend at the time. And so just to give you a little capsule of time there, of that's really the last show I like took time to watch on cable TV or anything like that. So at this time, I didn't really watch TV. I guess occasionally I would be at a friend's house. You'd flip on MTV or whatever. But so I'm in front of the TV, and I can't get off the TV because of these planes hitting these buildings.
Not appear that there's any kind of an effort up there yet. Now remember, oh my God.
Oh my God.
That looks like a second plane.
Terrible.
Has just
I did not see a plane go in. That just exploded.
We just saw another plane coming in from the side.
You did. That was out of
Yes, and that's the second explosion. You could see the plane come in just from the right-hand side of the screen. So this looks like it is some sort of a concerted...
Oh my goodness.
Oh God.
There's another one.
Oh.
My goodness, there's another one.
It seems to be on purpose.
Oh my goodness.
Plane?
Now it's obvious, I think.
This is the other tower, ladies and gentlemen. Another explosion at tower number 2 of the World Trade Center just happened live.
There's another one. Another plane just hit. Right. Oh my God! Another plane has just hit. It hit another building. Flew right into the middle of it. Explosion. My God! It's right in the middle of the building.
This one into the East Tower.
Yes.
And here's the thing that tripped me out, and I still remember it. It was bad enough, like seeing the planes hit, but then these buildings just disintegrate.
Dan Daler from ABC's Good Morning America is down in the general vicinity. Dan, can you tell us what has just happened?
Yes, Peter. It's Don Daler down here. I'm 4 blocks north of the World Trade Center. The second building that was hit by the plane has just completely collapsed. The entire building has just collapsed, as if a demolition team set off. When you see the old demolitions of these old buildings, it folded down on itself, and it is not there anymore.
The whole side has collapsed?
The whole building has collapsed.
The whole building has collapsed?
The building has collapsed.
That's the southern tower you're talking about.
Exactly. The second building that we witnessed the airplane.
We just saw a live picture of what seemed to be a portion of the building falling away from the World Trade Center. If we can re-rack that to about 20 seconds ago, you'll see something dramatic happening. And I don't know whether it's another explosion or a portion of the building falling away.
The other tower of the World Trade Center has just collapsed. You are looking at live pictures of the second twin tower at the World Trade Center collapsing as a result of the crash of an airplane into its side. That, I believe, was the first tower that was struck.
1 second, Keith Graves. We're taking live pictures from our colleagues at Fox News in New York. We know that one of the twin towers at the World Trade Center in New York collapsed a short time ago. Some 25,000 people work inside that building. You just saw live here on Sky News. The second tower has collapsed.
And I'm no engineer, as I've mentioned multiple times in this, but it freaked me out. It didn't look right, but well, the TV says this, and I'm this. What do I know? I'm just this kid.
I'm just this college punk freshman who writes music and
my mom's just like, you know, like beside herself, and we're all beside ourselves. You know, it was a very tragic event. It was, you know,
traumatic, maybe.
MK Ultra. What? No. So, yeah, it really had an impact on me, and I couldn't put my finger on it, but it looked wrong that they just disintegrated like straight down. But I just accepted it at face value as the status quo. And I basically used that as the catalyst to pretty much throw in the towel with going to school. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I think the girl that I was dating, we broke up, and it was a ongoing cycle for a little while. But
9/11 ruined them.
No. It was after 9/11 that we broke up. But anyways, so 9/11 basically made me go, you know what? Life's way too short. On top of all the other realizations I'm having, this whole college thing's like, I don't know what I want to do. Like, I could be like a teacher for kids. I could never teach people that are my age.
You tell me, who is your daddy and what does he do? Get it? Okay, we start right here.
I could maybe do that. I could teach elementary, and that would be like a worthwhile job because you have fresh pieces of paper to deal with, so to speak. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what I was going to do, so I basically bomb out. I basically just figured life's way too short. I'm only going to concentrate on my band, and so made a lot of releases. Ironically,
Sam, didn't you tell me once that you put out a record per year?
Yes. And actually, here's a funny thing. The title of the first EP I released was the Columbus Conspiracy EP that I recorded in 2001 and released in 2002. I won't get into all my conspiracy theories on my titles here, but anyway, so I meet another band that had members that had attended the same community college, met some other people at the community college. Just kind of got involved in the local suburban scene first, and started to play out a little bit in Chicago, not a lot. Went to this place called the Fireside Bowl, which is pretty much where like Alkaline Trio got their start with shows. I mean, it was this bowling alley that was run by this dude, Brian Peterson, and this other dude, I forget the other guy's name. And it turns out that the other guy that was partners with Brian Peterson, who booked Fireside Bowl, was dating a girl that I went to high school with, or that I guess I went to grade school with. She graduated from the other school, Johnsburg, that I used to go to.
What?
So she's like dating him, and it's one of the bigger show promoters out there in Chicago, and everybody was playing the Fireside. I mean, I saw Coheed and Cambria there. I saw Piebald.
From all I've heard and all I've seen, this place has broken my American heart.
The Stereo.
You want it, you need it, but always give up so easy. So what now? So be it.
Lots of different bands, and so it really opened up my world there. And